If you're meeting a woman from the onset and she's telling you that she's looking for a relationship without sex, this is a very bad sign. This is an absolute red flag for you as a man. I am not saying that you should be hung on sex or that all you should want from a woman is sex, because many of them go about thinking that. In this particular video, I want to be sharing with you just a general conversation we'll be having here on the importance of actually creating a healthy dynamics at the start of your relationship, and how important it is for you to state exactly, or rather dictate, the dynamics from the onset of how your relationship should go. The way you start a relationship from the beginning is what would dictate the course of that relationship from the start and to the end of it, if it ends. Or even, if you guys get married and you guys continue in that way up until years to come, this will champion the course of your relationship. Except you are absolutely strong-willed and you have a woman who is a little more chilled or a little more relaxed, and she's willing to compromise to a large extent. Many years ago, when I did go on a date, I actually met this girl. We went in my car, we spoke, we just talked about things, and the conversation got a little more interesting, where she brought up something in the lines of, how do I feel about a relationship without sex? It was a big question. Not because of sex, but just because I know that the way I respond and answer this question will champion the course of that relationship if we ever went anywhere. She's asking me, how do you feel about a relationship without sex? And I'm like, what do you mean? If you want to explain to me a little bit more. And she said, I'm looking for, a partner who is not looking for sex, or who doesn't want to be, sexually involved and all that stuff. At that point, I was already being thrown off a bit. I'm trying to understand the dynamics of this conversation right now. And all I did was respond to her in a third party. I wasn't like telling her how I felt or my intentions, or I wasn't speaking to any of that. So she kept saying, yeah, because the few dates that I've gone on, I told those guys that I don't want a relationship where sex is involved, and many of them just disappeared on me. They didn't respond anymore. They didn't say anything, because for me, I feel like sex is not something that I need in my relationship at this time. Interesting. And then she went on to say, well, I know the sort of intimacy I experienced with my ex because we didn't have sex, at least for many months in our relationship. We focused on other things, building our intimacy, communicating better, our heads were clear, and we had a better, smoother relationship without having sex at that time. And then when we finally had sex, which is like icing on the cake, I believe that's what she's trying to paint, the kind of picture she's trying to paint there. When we finally had sex, it cemented everything. It cemented our relationship. We were so in love. We were so bonded. We were so together. We couldn't do without each other. We had pure, something true, something sweet and lovely. At that point, I had a lot to say, but I was quiet. My first response was, so where's your ex now? Why aren't you guys together anymore? And she's like, well, he had to move. He decided to move to another country. And me, I didn't find myself going to that country with him. I didn't want to move there. I just wanted, to stay where I am. I had a good life here. I had everything going for me. I had a good job. At this point, I'm getting a little more conflicted. If you guys were so good, such a sweet, loving experience, being in a relationship with this person and cementing it, the icing on the cake with sex, bonding it, final, sealing the deal, as you said. How come you guys could not find it in your heart to move together to somewhere new? It's not as if the place they are moving to is entirely new. Say, I will give you an example, right? Canada and United States. These are two related countries in many ways, though in many ways they are different. But it's not like you're moving from Canada to Africa, Uganda or something. It's not that, or even Mexico. And she's like, yeah, I don't see myself living in that country at all. There's a lot that happens there. I don't want to be involved in anything that. She went on and on. And at that point, I knew that this person is absolutely one of those kind of women you as a man must definitely avoid. If you're meeting a woman from the onset and she's telling you that she's looking for a relationship without sex, this is a very bad sign. this is an absolute red flag for you as a man. I am not saying that you should be hung on sex or that all you should want from a woman is sex, because many of them go about thinking that. They think that all we want from them is sex. Now she's just going to withhold sex. What else are you going to withhold? What is the implication of not being sexually intimate with your partner? What inevitably are you trying to achieve? She said, a better, healthier relationship that's more intimate when we finally do it. Well, you did that with your ex, didn't you? Why aren't you guys together now? Many things can absolutely break a relationship. It's not based off of sex. It's not based off of whether we had sex at the first day or whether we had sex 2 months, 2 years in. No, many married people today are not having sex, but they are together even. Many people who had sex from the onset are together now, having a good relationship as well while ongoing in sex. If you meet a woman who is already dictating, especially with something as important and sensitive as sex, who is already dictating and telling you that she doesn't want to be in that kind of relationship where you'll be having sex, if you agree to something like this, what you just did is you handed that woman so much dictatorship over your relationship, and you're like, do with me whatever you want. We went on with our conversation. She's like, I'm good with kissing. I'm good with foreplay. I'm good with all those things. I'm like, how far is the foreplay? How far could the foreplay go? We could kiss, we could lip kiss, but I don't want you kissing me on my neck. I'm like, I don't understand. What are you trying to achieve here? Kissing you, so I will kiss you on your lip, but I won't kiss you on your neck. Yeah, because that begins to make me feel some way. This is where you begin to lose it, because with something like sex, the way it is for women is different for a man. A man would always need sex in a marriage, in a partnership, in a relationship. Women need to understand that the way a man functions is different from them. They can't help but think the way they do. This is all due to influence of social media, influence from friends, influence from society that doesn't make any sense. This is somebody who is already older. When you were younger, how come you didn't go this celibacy route? Now you're crediting it to maturity, that you've grown up, you're not mature. No, that doesn't make any sense to me. As at the time a woman is much younger, that's the time that most men desire them. Now you're much older and you're saying that you want to be celibate. The way most of my relationships went, we had sex at the beginning and it didn't work out well because of that. And the one recently that you didn't have sex with up until some few months in, how come that didn't work out too? You don't need this kind of person in your life. When you go on a date and a woman is already telling you, I don't want sex, I don't want this, I don't want that, but wants to be in a relationship with you, once again, sex is not the only thing you should be requiring from a woman. In fact, if you begin to desexualize your brain, you will begin to see them for who they are. You will begin to see if they're actually adding value to your life or not. When you desexualize your brain, you will see if they even cook for you, if they do anything for you, care about your well-being, improve your life, or come around your place to make it a home. If you meet a woman like this from the onset, she is absolutely the kind of woman you want to avoid. Women do not understand that sex is actually something that is absolutely important to a man. If you keep judging and concluding, coming up with a decision based off of the ideas of a man towards sex or his belief of sex, or you try to make a man feel guilty or feel bad or feel some way for desiring sex and wanting sex, then there is something fundamentally wrong with your mindset. A man, if attracted to you, desires you, would want sex from you. You can't make a man feel bad or guilty, because a man's natural desire, scientifically, biologically, he would desire sex. If you meet a woman like this is an absolute red flag. If you meet a woman from the onset, she's telling you, how do you feel about a relationship without sex? Because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to be sexually intimate. Well, she is curing herself in other ways. Who knows? Giving herself to another person while denying you of sex, and also wanting you to not be involved in any other woman. She just wants you to be with her, but not be sexually intimate with her, and not be sexually intimate with any other woman. This is a red flag. Do not feel bad for desiring to be sexually intimate with your partner when you know this is loyalty. This is how you show them love. This is how you show you're also attracted to your partner. These same women, when you don't initiate sex with them, They are the ones that will still say, oh, you don't want me anymore, you're not attracted to me anymore, you don't look at me the same way anymore. But when you do that, when you want them, when you want to be sexually intimate with them, when you touch them, when you draw them close and all that, they will still say, oh, you are always honey, all you want from me is sex, all you desire from me is sex. They don't know where they stand. I know I'm delving into a pretty sensitive topic for a lot of people. Sex is not just physical for women, it's also the mind. And you as a man need to know how to do that. We made videos in the past of how you can attract a woman, the mystery you can create around yourself, how you can maintain attraction even with your relationship and with your partner. Because this is the biggest issue that many people have. This is the biggest issue that many relationships have, where they end up falling out of love or falling out of attraction. You see some people 5 years, 1 year, even 2 years, some people, and they're already like not even being with each other anymore. There are many married people who are in this situation right now. Their wife is no longer desiring them or wanting to be sexually intimate with them. And this is a huge challenge. I'm speaking to you, even if you're a woman, you denying your husband sexual intimacy, it's an absolute negative, bad reflection on you. These things trickle, they have a ripple effect for a man, where when they also have sex with you, there's a bonding that's created. But many women don't see it that way, because they probably do not have the same sort of sexual urges. Maybe they are not desiring their partner anymore, or worst case, the partner may not be doing things right in terms of creating a favorable environment for her to be sexually drawn to him, or for her to feel seduced in her mind. I'm having this conversation because I know that sex has been stigmatized by the society. Sex is looked at some way like something that you should run away from. Once, when we were much younger, we were told these things. But you need to know that there's nothing wrong with your sexual desires. There's nothing wrong with you being attracted to your partner. And if she's making you feel bad about it, I'm telling you, this will begin to hurt your mind. You don't need a woman like that. Because what this does is, you would go out there and start looking at other women. You would look for other women who desire you sexually. Once a woman begins to desire sexually and your partner is not giving you that, that is the biggest sort of temptation that can be created in a relationship. And once that begins to happen, my brother, if she's hot and she's always around you and she's attracted to you, and your wife is not even helping situation, or your partner, my brother, I'm praying for you. You would end up falling into a situation like that. Guys, if I keep on going on this conversation, I will have a lot more to say, but this is all I have to tell you. Stay away from a woman who is trying to dictate the course of your relationship from the start, because you are the one who inevitably suffer from it. Have a good day.